Can everybody hear me and see me? Can I be heard? I just want to make sure that I can be heard.
Oh, Andy, I take it you're not hearing me, but yes, we can hear you fine.
Okay, no, I do hear you.
All
Yep,
right.
I do now.
Okay.
All right. All right, everybody, I am going to call this meeting to order. This is the April 12th, 2023 meeting of the City of Pasco Hearing Examiner. My name is Andy Kottkamp, and I've been appointed by the City of Pasco to serve as the Land Use Hearing Examiner. My job is to render decisions on various applications that are authorized to come before me, which includes special permits and rezones. That's what we have on the agenda for today. Now, I consider any testimony presented at today's hearing, as well as any written materials on file, in order to make my decision. Now, although the hearing process has certain rules, I do try to conduct the meetings in a relaxed and informal manner, but we still have a process we're going to use. For each item, staff will present their report to make whatever recommendations that they wish to make. Next, the applicant or the applicant's representative is given an opportunity to present their testimony and evidence. The applicant does have the burden of proof to show compliance with all the applicable rules and regulations. Next, if there's anybody here from the public that wishes to testify, I will give you that opportunity to do so. And if there is any testimony in opposition to the project, then I will give the applicant an opportunity to submit whatever rebuttal testimony that they wish to make. Now, if you are going to provide testimony, then what I'm going to ask you to do is to unmute yourself, and I'll have you state your name and address, and then I will swear you in as a witness. I'd ask that you keep your testimony relevant to the application we're talking about and not to other issues beyond the scope of the proposal. And if you do have anything in writing that you want to submit today, we can certainly make those arrangements. Now, I have the option following this hearing to keep the record open if I think there's a need for additional written testimony to be submitted. But in any event, my written decision will be made within 10 working days after I close the public record. I've reviewed the items that are on today's agenda. I don't have any interest in the properties or the proposals to be heard today. I'll be able to fairly and objectively consider each item on today's agenda, and then outside of receiving and reviewing the staff report for each item, along with all those attachments, which generally included all the application materials, the noticing documents, any SEPA documents, comments, photographs, site plans, other than receiving and reviewing essentially the entire planning staff file, I've not had any communication regarding any of the items that are on tonight's agenda. So with those representations, if you do have an objection to me serving as the hearing examiner, you need to come forward and state so at this time. All right, hearing none, we'll turn to the first item on today's agenda. As indicated, this is a special permit. It's given application number SP 2022-024. And this is an application for a batch plant to be located on property located within the city of Pasco that is more specifically described in the staff report as well as in the application materials. For the record, I will admit into the record at this time by this reference, not only the staff report, but all those attachments to the staff report, which generally included all the application materials and the noticing documents, comments that have been made, site plan mappings and drawings. I'll admit all those items. Indeed, I will admit the entire planning staff file into the record at this time by this reference, and I'll turn this matter over to staff for their presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Kottkamp. And this is Rick White. I'll be giving the staff presentation tonight on all three of the items on the agenda. The first one, as you've already noted, is a concrete batch plant application for special permit located on the southwest corner of Venture Road and the Pasco-Colotis Highway. It's a 35-acre site, as you can see on the screen, and the property is currently zoned medium industrial, I2. The comprehensive plan designation for this area is industrial, and the staff report contains an environmental determination with a list of mitigating conditions, the analysis of the proposal. It has 11 staff findings and conclusions per the Pasco Municipal Code, and then a list of proposed conditions that have been developed unique to this concrete batch plant application. So I'll stop there and offer to respond to any questions either the public or you may have.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. White. I do not have any questions. And I'm not aware, I don't know if there are members of the public there or just applicants.
I believe just the applicants. I will check online quickly, and I see none except for those present in the chambers tonight.
All right, that's what I thought too. Okay, thank you very much. I do not have any questions of staff. I appreciate the staff presentation. Is the applicant or the applicant's representative here tonight?
Do you want to speak? They are present, Mr. Examiner. However, unless questions are needing to be answered, they really don't have anything to add to the brief report given by myself a minute ago.
Okay, well, what I'll do is just for the applicants is to say that if you have an objection to any of the proposed conditions of approval, now is the time to come up and state them. And if you do not testify, I will assume that you have no objection to those proposed conditions of approval. So does it appear that anybody would like to testify, Mr. White?
Does not appear so.
Okay, perfect. And I'll just confirm, is there any member of the public or anybody else in the room that wishes to testify on this?
Likewise, there is nobody present.
Okay. Let me finish my note here. All right, then for the benefit of the applicants that are there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the public record portion of this hearing, and I will have a written decision made for you within the next 10 working days. It will not take that long. I'm sure I'll have something out by early next week. All right, item number 2 on the agenda today is a special permit as well. It's given application number SP 2023-004, and this is an application for a garage height variance, again relating to property located within the city of Pasco that is more specifically described in the staff report as well as in the application materials. I'll admit into the record at this time by this reference that staff report, all the materials that are attached to the staff report, which include photographs and drawings and comments. I'll admit all those items. Indeed, I will admit the entire planning staff file into the record at this time by this reference. And once again, turn this matter over to Mr. White for the staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Kottkamp. And this, as you mentioned, is a special permit request for a detached garage that is higher than the maximum allowed in the suburban zoning district, the RS12 zoning district. The Pasco Municipal Code has a provision in it that allows the detached garage height to be exceeded from the 18-foot maximum through the application of a special permit. The applicant has submitted that special permit and by the way, I do need to make a correction to the staff report. On the first page, the general location specifies 4418 Willow Way. That's incorrect. It's 10104 Willow Way. And that same correction applies to the tentative approval conditions on the last page of the printed staff report. So not 4418 Willow Way, but 10104 Willow Way. As I was stating, the applicant has applied for a special permit for a detached garage height. He has also requested a home remodel in conjunction with the increased garage height due to another provision in our municipal code that's explained, I believe, fairly adequately in the staff report. There's a list of the municipal code requirements pertaining to this particular application. There are 13 findings of fact submitted for your consideration and approval conditions that have been developed for this application itself.
All right, well, thank you very much, Mr. White. Once again, I appreciate the thoroughness of the staff report and the staff's presentation. I don't have any questions of staff. Now, did the applicant want to testify on this matter, or is the applicant present and ready to proceed?
Yes, they are, and he would prefer to testify.
All right. So why don't you come on up, sir, to the microphone. I'll have you state your name and address, and then I'll swear you in as a witness.
My name is Tim Kasnick. I live at 10104 Willow Way in Pasco.
All right, sir, I'll have you raise your right hand for me, please.
Okay.
And do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give today will be the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you very much. Sir, what would you like to tell me?
Well, I was just wanting to make sure it was clear that the variance that I'm asking for this special permit is for the detached garage, and building the detached garage is in conjunction with a permit that's already approved for the house remodel. And so the evidence I presented shows what the relationships are. The detached garage is shorter than the main building will be, so that's not a problem. The 18-foot is kind of limiting because of the my desire to have a detached garage that's going to be with a 10-foot ceiling on the main floor and 8 foot on the second floor. And then, of course, there's trusses and supports for that second floor. So the result is the average height of the building by our design is that 20 foot 9 inches. And that height is somewhat less than the neighboring trees on my property and the neighboring properties. Once the detached garage is built with the remodeling of the main house, you won't even see the detached garage because it's going to be off in the back corner. And so I think this variance is easily approved because I don't think it's going to cause any harm to anybody else, and it'll allow me to have a nice garage.
All right, thank you. Well, it is a very modest variance request. I want to confirm a couple of things, and I think I know the answer, but I just like to get things on the record sometimes.
Of course.
So this is not going to be an accessory dwelling unit. There's no kitchen, no bathroom, no bedrooms. It's not going to be a living unit. Is that correct?
Well, we were going to have a toilet in there so that us old folks don't have to run to the main house when nature calls. Other than that, there's no other utilities or anything. It's just a sink and a toilet.
Toilet will be in the main floor, not the upstairs?
That's correct, just on the main floor. The upstairs is just a big open room.
Okay, I just wanted to, just to confirm that. I'm not saying it can never be used as an accessory dwelling unit, but at this point, that's not your intention, correct?
Correct.
All right, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No? Do you have any other questions?
I do not, but I'm really glad you came out tonight. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
You have a good night.
Thank you.
Just to confirm, Mr. White, there is no member of the public there today. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, then, Mr. Kasnick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the public record portion of this hearing, and I'll have a written decision made within the next 10 working days. We do have one last item on today's agenda. This is a rezone application, given application number Z2022-013, which is a request for a rezone from residential 1A to a commercial 3. This relates to property located within the city of Pasco that is more specifically described in the staff report as well as in the application materials. Once again, for the record, I will admit into the record at this time by this reference, not only that staff report, but all the attachments to the staff report, which included all the application materials and the noticing documents, There are site plan drawings and overhead drawings and zoning maps and photographs. I'll admit all those items. Indeed, I will admit the entire planning staff file into the record at this time by this reference. And once again, turn this matter over to Mr. White for the staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Cotcamp. And as you mentioned, this is a rezone from the designation of R1A, which is our low-density zoning district, and also allows modular housing, to R4, which is our high-density residential zoning district. It's for a 2.25 acre parcel located on the east side of Heritage Boulevard between Helena Street and East Louis Place. The comprehensive plan designation for this area is mixed residential commercial, which permits obviously a variety of commercial and residential zoning districts. The staff report contains the environmental designation of non-significance, which was conducted and determined some time ago. The rezone criteria required in the Pasco Municipal Code have been addressed, at least from a staff perspective, along with 14 findings of facts. And the conclusions required by the Pasco Municipal Code have also been addressed in the staff report, and that leads to the recommendation that the hearing examiner confer with the findings of facts and conclusions and recommend to City Council approval of the rezone request.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. White. Once again, I do not have any questions except for one. What are all those cars on the west or on the east side of the site? Is that
It's not a parking
Car?
lot. It is a, I think it's a salvage yard, so I think they part out vehicles there.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that makes sense. I was thinking I missed a Costco last time I was in Pasco. So, okay. Thank you very much, Mr. White. I do not have any questions of staff. Is the applicant ready to proceed?
They are.
All right. I'll have you come on up, state your name and address, and then I will put you under oath and ask
Good
you
evening,
what you
Mr.
want me-
Examiner. My name is Stephen Bauman. I'm the managing member of Lewis Place LLC, and I am the applicant. My address is 3130 Barney Lane, Suite 102.
It is Stephen with a PH
Yes, sir.
and Bauman, Bauman.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. I got it down. Have you raise your right hand for me, sir? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give me today will be the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you very much. Once again, you're here as an agent authorized to appear and speak on behalf of the property owner and applicant today. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, thank you very much. Now, what would you like to tell me, please?
Don't have anything special. Agree with the staff's findings of facts, and believe that we can comply with everything stated there, and look forward to proceeding with this process.
All right, thank you very much. I'm not going to make a decision tonight. I do want to have a written recommendation made to the city council so that they can consider it, but it's a unique piece of property and it looks like this is an appropriate rezone for it. So I'm sure that'll be my final decision, but I will be looking at everything over one more time, just to make sure.
I'm sure
okay?
that this property has some history that I'm sure that the council will appreciate it moving forward to be developed.
Do you want to put it on the record now, or do you? It's local knowledge.
That would be fine. It was there was Catholic Charities were going to put some high density, low income housing on this property, and there was significant concern with the community, and so the council chose not to do that at the time, and so it was subsequently put up for sale, and I had the opportunity to buy it and look forward to getting it developed and improving this area of town.
All right. Well, thank you very much for sharing that information to me with me. It'll be part of the record. I'm not sure it'll be part of my recommended decision, but it'll be part of the record. What'll happen is City Council will have the opportunity to review the hearing here and look at my recommendations and look at all the file materials, and I'm sure that they will remember this triangular lot. So
Yep, thank you so much.
Anyway, thank you very much for coming in. Once again, just to confirm, Mr. White, is there any member of the public there that wishes to testify?
There is not.
All right, then, Mr. Baumann, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the public record portion of this hearing. I'll have my written recommended decision out within the next 10 working days. It won't be out this week, I can tell you that for sure. It'll be out early next week. Hopefully it'll be on the agenda at the next city council meeting. There are no other items that are on tonight's agenda. Thank you all very much for coming out tonight. I'm now going to adjourn this April 12th, 2023 meeting of the City of Pasco Hearing Examiner. Everybody have a great rest of your week and a wonderful weekend. This meeting's now adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That was one of the fastest ones we've had. Have a good evening.